We got to talk about KOTOR,
We still
got
to talk about KOTOR.
Okay.
Which also, guys, if there's anything that you would want to question in about KOTOR, things that you would like to keep, things you would not want to have and you'd like to change somehow, that's what we're going to be talking about with Knights of the Old Republic if they actually do a remake. Because, like, I don't think it's on anymore.
Maybe they'll listen to this and be like, all right, just have these guys be in charge. No. So, we played KOTOR recently, so it's pretty fresh in both of our minds.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and start going through the list. I don't know if you got some stuff too.
I have a couple things.
Okay.
You know,
I'm curious. What's your first one?
Well, because like I don't have mine in any kind of order
Me
or
either.
anything or nothing. Just some general ideas of what I want. One thing I want if they do a remake is I want them to, I want it to be like the Final Fantasy VII a little bit. I want them to change some elements, and I want them to get it into the current canon. I want it to be like our gateway into the Old Republic.
You want an adaptation to fit into canon.
Yeah. So, like, if there's anything where it's like, well, this isn't really working anymore or whatever it is, like, I feel like there's enough wiggle room because we're always going to have the old KOTOR, right? I don't maybe have the same nostalgia other people do for it, but I love the story that I had with it, you know?
I mean, Darth Revan is canon to Disney now because the source book of Episode 9 mentions that there is a Revan battalion in the Sith army. And they're named after different Sith Lords.
Named after Sith Lords, so there has to be.
Case,
there must have been a Revan. Of some sort.
Yeah.
Whether it's our Revan that we know or not, right?
Honestly, I think it would be perfect to do that because as much as I love the original game, like, one, it's not perfect. Two, it's a lot older. Like, it needs expanding. And three, like, that way you can still have surprises for people that played the original game. Mm-hmm. That game is amazing when you play it the first time. And, again, we said this before, but we're going to be spoiling the game talking about this.
Yeah, we'll talk about all kinds of stuff.
So this is your last chance. The Darth Revan twist is one of the coolest moments in gaming for me.
It's great.
And it's a solid Star Wars twist, you
Yes.
know? I think you have to keep that. I don't want to change that just to appease people that already know the thing.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, a lot of other things need to be new and fresh.
Sure.
Right?
So that was going to be one of the things that I was going to ask because I was like, could we change the way the Revan reveal is? Could it be that Revan isn't even you, but maybe like someone in your team? Or is there another way of having a twist that still works similar but is different? Or should it stay that same general story?
I think it needs to say it needs to stay the general story. That's not to say it shouldn't change somewhat. Like one of mine on here is I love Darth Malik's look and performance. He doesn't really do much. He's not really fleshed out. I would keep that and have that personal connection with the main antagonist, but maybe make it a little less like, what if he regrets what he did to Revan? You know, like what if he like actually tempts you in a way that's, you know, I think that you can do more interesting stuff. But right now he's just kind of like evil bad guy number one.
Yeah, you don't see him much.
No.
You get some random cinematics, right?
Yeah.
That kind of happen when you do stuff where he's over there.
Sure.
I think I agree with that. I think I'd like to have him involved somehow more or something.
Yeah.
But whenever he like doesn't have his little jaw thing on and stuff too, like just imagining that, but like that's a creepy thing, you know? It's kind of like whenever you take off like Vader's helmet and like he still has this and you just see that, like that's just what he is all the time. But like, oh man, what's Vader got? Like what's underneath the rest of this sometimes? Like that's exactly the Malik thing, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. But no, definitely one of mine is fleshing out Malik a lot more. I think if you do that, you naturally kind of flesh Revan and his backstory out. And I think you got to keep that twist. I might add stuff like once you get that twist, or maybe even before, maybe add an element of psychometry to it, where like if you go to certain areas, you can actually relive some moments of Revan's. That could be cool. Which he kind of does a little bit when they reconnect.
Now, did you ever read the Revan book?
Yes, sir.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you think that should there be any of it included? Like, because there's story elements there where, if you guys don't know, I'm going to talk about the Revan book, so you get a little bit of extra book in this. In the Revan book, there's some elements where Malik and Revan were like they were both Jedi, I believe. They go to the Sith Emperor. Like they're heading that way to go and try to confront the Sith.
They're
Empire.
fighting in the Mandalorian Wars, and they stumble upon the true Sith Empire.
Yeah. They find that and they go there, and in doing so, become Sith, become kind of like, I don't know, their mind is changed and altered, and they come back as Sith, and that's how you get the Darth Revan and the Darth Malak.
Their primary motivation is to prepare the galaxy for the coming of the Sith.
Yeah. So like you get that element. Is that something that should maybe be pulled into something like this as well, or is that something like, you know, like?
See, I get exactly what you mean, and I don't want to go too far into this because I would also have a lot to say about how you include some KOTOR 2 stuff. And I want to keep your KOTOR 2
which I don't know any KOTOR
fresh
2 things.
Because Aaron has never played, and a lot of us know KOTOR 2 has some of the best Star Wars moments ever.
Yeah. I don't even know, like, I'm like, it's KOTOR 2, but I don't even know if it's like, is it really connected to KOTOR 1?
Yeah.
Like, you don't play Revan, I don't believe. Like, you don't have any of that kind of stuff.
But
you know?
Revan is integral.
Okay.
Despite not appearing.
and I don't think anything in it is covered within, I mean, maybe it is, but within the Revan book I read, like I kind of had an idea of what all happened roughly in the first KOTOR.
Yeah.
Just never experienced it. So I don't think the story elements I know too well through that.
Yeah. Just briefly, though, I might have like some mention of Malachor, which is a thing that happens in KOTOR 2. But in terms of like the true Sith and what is coming with the Old Republic, I probably would I would have hints, but it wouldn't factor majorly. I think it's important to keep the story of this person that has no idea who he is and then discovers who he is and then decides that doesn't matter who I was. I am who I am now. Who are you? I don't know. What do my companions say about me? What do they see? Like, I think you flesh that type of thing out, and I think it's really good for the role play of it. Because one of my other changes is I want to, I would expand the build system of characters way more than it is currently right now.
Okay.
Like right now,
by build, like what? Okay.
Yeah.
Like
right
the
now,
tree
if you want to play, T3, he's not that great. His stats aren't fantastic. He doesn't really get utilized too much. And the only real special skill that matters is being able to slice into things. Yeah,
slice, computer, droid repairs. He's usually pretty good at some of that stuff.
I think you need to have 12 more skills that more characters can have. Expand it that way.
I would also after with Baldur's Gate, getting a character and you're like, you know what, I want to rebuild this character because instead of Canderous. He has a lot of strength because he's a stronger guy, but I want him to use his minigun.
And he's not spec'd to use his minigun, which seems like a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, even Baldur's Gate, some of their stats for the origin characters don't reflect their class great.
Sure.
I mean, they're okay,
but
they're not spec'd for it.
Well, yeah, a lot of things aren't always min-maxed.
Yeah.
But I like to be able to adjust that if I want to,
Sure.
So I think that would be really cool to have. And also just... Do you think expanding on... Because I was debating on this. I feel like I'd want to either expand the planets, because technology now, there's so much more you can do, right?
They were limited.
You've played, what's the new Star Wars? Outlaws, right? Does it feel a lot bigger in the world than what KOTOR has of being on Tatooine?
Absolutely. I mean, it even has a primary speeder.
Yeah.
With it, so it has to be even bigger because you're going much faster.
Yeah, or having other places you can land. Let's land on Mos Eisley. Let's land at Mos Espa. Let's land at Anchorhead. Either that or having a couple other planets, because there's definitely, at least playing the first KOTOR, like you said, you have to play through more than once if you want to really get some levels and some story elements for all your side characters. Mm-hmm. But if you had a little bit more where I can rotate out or play through these, you can still have your favorites and you can still have a lot more extra side stuff.
Sure.
But you have a lot more room to be able to do some other quests and experience stuff with your companions, maybe.
Yeah.
I also would really like to shift a little bit on the combat system. One, I was thinking about it being...
I feel like this is going to be the spot where maybe me and you disagree, because I kind of love that combat system.
Maybe.
So when you say shift, what do you mean?
Well, one thing is I want the animations better.
Yes.
Right? I would love for when... So I guess first off, I want to... I don't know if you ever played Fallout 3, but Fallout 3, you have two ways of doing combat. You can just... You're a first-person shooter, and you're just doing it that way. Or you can do what's the VAT system, where you kind of pause time. You can target body parts with certain weapons and stuff too, and then you can use like it's like skill points, which is basically just how much you can do in one turn.
Sure.
And you use those to like slow it down and be like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. And it's a little bit more. That might make it a little bit more like Baldur's Gate versus like Mass Effect, right?
Sure.
Mass Effect has more of that third person like combat aspect, but if you could pause it and then do it in a little bit more of a Baldur's Gate fashion, I'd like to do that, which it kind of has.
But I
want to expand that a little bit, but then I also within that want the animations. If I have kind of paused it in a turn-based combat thing, like in Baldur's Gate, like I'm like trying to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want those extra just random animations they do to be there, but then when you now do this one, okay, now go. I want those to be different flurries and expand from that initial one. And I think that would be really cool to do.
I want like my gunslinger characters to find cover.
Yeah.
You know, I want my
but maybe
my Wookiee to pick up people and throw them. Like I definitely want an expansion, but I would want to keep the dice-based D&D like feel in there.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that game, and I love Jedi Survivor and Jedi Outcast and all the games that are an action RPG, or an action adventure game where you have complete control of your character. But when I played KOTOR, like I would sit there for minutes and watch a lightsaber fight and not even touch the button sometimes.
Sure.
I would do that times 200.
Yeah.
It's like okay, give me 300 animations of a single versus single. Now give me 3 animations of a single versus a double, and then a double versus a double, and just keep doing that. Just bring some guys in to do some mocap, and I think that would be fucking awesome. Okay,
really
now
cool.
Now give me one where it's one guy fighting 2 guys. Now your animation's different.
He's fighting both of them.
Yeah.
That would be really neat to do. Like, I know Final Fantasy VII made it less turn-based and more like action.
Yeah, it's more like I was reading some people's suggestions of what they would do, and that one apparently is like you charge up your abilities by doing smaller things.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So like maybe something like that could work, but also where you could pause or something like that too and do the turn-based. I just want like also. I hate, like, I love watching while it's happening and they're just doing their actions while it's kind of like, okay, now's the roll and now do I hit?
Yeah.
And now it's one of my moves.
Sure.
But in the in between time they're doing that. I would like them to do their little things while I'm paused, and that's just kind of like, okay, no one's really gaining any ground. Nothing's happening. We're just deflecting back and forth. The people with blasters are taking cover and maybe just taking shots, and there's some blaster bolts flying through, but maybe nothing's hitting, It's just there's kind of like action on the scene.
Yeah.
While I'm like, what do I want to do?
You're waiting to think, and you might be losing a little bit of HP as you're firing at each other, but you want to do your big blaster shot. I want to do it now, and then you can like time things and use the turn-based system that way.
Yeah, because like I was just thinking, whenever I was playing, it'd be paused. I'm like, okay, and especially once I figure out, here's how I do the Q. All right, well, I want my character to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Let me switch to Bastila. Okay, now I want Bastila to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing that, everything's just frozen.
Sure.
So I think during that time, while I'm like, okay, it's still turn-based, like, let there be the action on the scene so it feels like I'm just in a battle.
Yeah.
And, like, Basila's like, block, 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 and, like, attack, attack, and, like, they're blocking. But there's no hits. There's nothing happening. It's not, like, real hits.
And there's not a ton of synergy between the characters. Like, I want to have Bastila force push a guy, and then in my next cue is Canderous hitting him.
That could be
like
cool.
have like characters combo in a turn-based system.
Sure.
Because when I play,
I play in D&D, right?
When I play in D&D, before playing Baldur's Gate, at home. When I play Baldur's Gate at home, I have a whole party, and I control the whole party, and the synergy is fun. So being able to do that in KOTOR would be a blast, man. There's another thing too, like. I think I want at least one more party member with me at all times. I know that BioWare said it was a restriction they had, like we couldn't have more than 2 party members with you. And I know you don't want to break the game or have too much. If it was up to me, which I do a mod up for Baldur's Gate 3 where I take my whole party with me all the time.
It's too much.
It is too much. But I'll tell you what, have it be like 3 or 4 people with you, but for the Starforge, everyone comes. Because, damn, that was hard.
That would be cool.
Increase, give me 20 more Sith on screen too, sure.
What I was hoping for in that was that I would play me.
Yeah.
But as I progressed, you were like now I'm going past with Canderous and Karth, and they're with me now.
Yeah.
And now they got to stay here and defend this area. Because, like, you know how you get to Bastila and, like, the door shut?
Yeah.
And now those two aren't with you?
Yeah.
If it was like that, but throughout the whole Starforge or whatever, where, like, the whole team's here, why am I only taking 3 of us?
Yeah.
But it's only in segments where, like, I have these 2 now.
Sure.
Now I have, T3 and HK. Like, pair them up or trio them up or whatever, and just have, like, all of them are there, but it changes as you're going through. So, like, your party, there's a reason why they're with your party in the way the Starforge story is happening or something. Like, okay, well, we're going to go take care of this. You guys go this way. It's like, I got to get to, Malik. I think that would be a real cool way to do, like, something like that.
Cool. You could, like, split the party, I suppose, too.
Because then, like, you get everybody in there, and it feels like everyone's doing things, but it doesn't feel like, or you get to a point, and it's kind of the same of picking who's going to break you out of prison, where it's like, okay, we need people to do this, this, and this. Yeah. And, like, you're choosing where people go, and then because of your play, well, now when I got to go stop the shield generators, here's who I'm going to see. And when I have to go and actually confront Malik, well, the Jedi are going to be there with me, Like, you're picking who's going to do, okay, we're going to start off in the very beginning, and we have to, like, I don't know, just stop these turbo lasers. Yeah. Well, I better take T3 with me to disable the turbo lasers, and I'm going to need some muscle. I'm going to take Canderous with me, or Zalbar or whatever.
There's this really cool part, I won't spoil it, this is just a gameplay design thing for Mass Effect, in one of the ending of a game, where, like, you have all these roles and you're going to utilize your whole party, but, like, okay, I need someone to do this and this and this, and if you don't know your characters well, you don't know, like, hey, this person would be better off doing that job than this person, because if you get that wrong, they could die.
Oh, dang.
Okay. So I kind of that's kind of what you're talking
about.
And that's
BioWare.
It is BioWare.
So they already have experience doing that.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be really cool then.
So that would be fun. Like, you don't want to send Canderous on the, hey, go hack this piece of information. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And he just shoots the,
Yeah. I don't know how to hack.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen.
And then you just don't get the thing that you're meant to get.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, like, I feel like I've played a game at some point where, like, there was something like that where a lot of your team was there, but they were with you, but it wasn't like you had to control everything either.
No.
All at the same time.
That's one of my favorite things about the game is, like, you can just play your character and the other guys will do stuff.
Yeah.
But make that a little bit more robust. Make them be a little smarter, act a little,
Yeah. I would also upgrade the scripting, which, I mean, I'm sure they would do, but there was only so many options in KOTOR. But, like, playing Kingdom Hearts, like, you have Donald and Goofy with you all the time.
Sure.
You can change a lot of elements of, like, well, how often are they going to use items? How often are they going to use maybe healing items? How often do they use magic spells? Are they defensive? Are they aggressive?
Yeah.
And you can really adjust them a lot more on how they play. Because, like, if I want Bastila to be more of a backline, healer or something like that, where, like, she's going to heal and throw her lightsaber and do more range stuff, like, I don't want her to be up in the front all the time doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I think Jolie might be kind of that character. I forget. But one of them is a little bit more, like, I forget Sentinel and which one was. One of them's more range.
She's a Sentinel.
Consular and Guardian. Guardian's tank.
Is a Consular, and then Guardian is the Cathar.
The Cathar, Juhani.
I don't know why I still wanted to say Jolie, but that's Jolie. Johanna, yes.
Yeah. So the Guardian's a little bit more tank-like, I think.
Yeah, they're like frontline.
The Consular, I think, is a little bit more like...
You're more of your mage.
Yeah. Like I would like to be able to set them up to be like, don't try to melee, use more range stuff, and do this and this and this.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to make them a force user that does that, but they also have a blaster. That could be really cool to do. So having that flexibility would be really cool to have.
I definitely want to be able to flesh out the other roles that aren't Jedi, because I feel like as soon as you become a Jedi...
I better take Jedi.
You drop everything. Like, you're more likely to bring the Force users with you.
There's no point in me taking guns.
Yeah. I mean, you only really bring out Mission and T3 because, like, I just haven't done anything with them. You make it more valuable.
Yeah.
I like your idea of, like, assigning, like, different behaviors for your characters. Like maybe when a grenade gets close to Bastila, she'll, like, jump out of the way. And maybe Jolie, when a grenade gets close to him, he force pushes it.
Yeah.
So an enemy can do that, but I could also have, like, Karth throw a grenade at Jolie, and then he'll force push it, so your grenade goes even further. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those kind of things would be really neat to do. I don't know if I have a lot of other ones.
Yeah, I have a small list here. I want less comically evil dark side path dialogue. I think that a game like this and a dark side run only works if it's believable. And there's a couple times, and I felt this with Baldur's Gate 2, it's like, that's ridiculous, what you just said. Like, That's not a Palpatine line. That's not a Maul line. That's not a Vader line.
You're just bad to be bad.
Yeah, that's like, make it tempting to do a dark side dialogue. Make it be like, oh, I thought that was the right thing to do. It wasn't because of this, because you didn't think about this or you didn't see this thing. So that's one of my big critiques of the game.
Okay.
Is that the dark side dialogue feels kind of like, we'll do the real story and then we'll do like the fake bad story is what it feels like to me. You know?
Sure.
Or I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased, but I kind of feel that way. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, there are two huge weaknesses that we had playing it, and one of them was every time you would jump to a new planet, every once in a while you're going to get into a thing where there's enemy fighters, and it's one of the most boring parts of the game. What would you do with the Ebon Hawk? Would you do anything different?
I like those to an extent, but like I would like to make it. Well, I guess it depends. If you can fly off planet, if you have any of that, or is it just like when you're on planet and then you're on the Ebon Hawk?
Sure.
The other thing is like, you remember how every once in a while bounty hunters would show up in like Fallen Order, right? Mm-hmm. And then like if you got captured, you got sent to one place. Yeah. Like that was like a special little event thing. I would also make it where it's like maybe not every time you go to space.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's not every time, but let's say 1 out of 3 times you go to space, those fighters showed up, right? Well, what if 1 out of 3 times, like sometimes that happens, but like maybe 1 out of 10 times of them showing up, instead it is a frigate, like a Star Destroyer kind of thing, or something, cool. Or bounty hunters, or something a little varying. Instead of it just being like, here's 6 Sith fighters, and you got to shoot them out of the sky, and you move on. Yeah. There was something we talked about similar with Outlaws, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was a similar idea where I'm like, dude, imagine like, I know what it was. It was when we were talking about Death Troopers. I was like, imagine at some point, like, if Cal got arrested as a bounty hunter or stormtroopers and is on a prison shuttle, like, in that you were Han Solo was there, right? Yeah. He didn't know what was happening on the rest of the ship. Imagine being Han and you got captured by stormtroopers. Like in the same sense of this, what if you got captured and all of a sudden like you're on a small little quest mission of getting off this ship, whether it's zombies or not. Yeah. Like just having that knowledge, like what the heck? Like someone opens up, like, look, there's a virus. You're one of the few people left alive. Will you help me get off this ship? And they're like, well, yeah, I don't want to be here either. Cool. Yeah. Like just having maybe some kind of random moments like that where it just changes it up a little bit, and it's not always like kill 5 Sith fighters and now you get to go where you want to go. I would do that. You could also make it where you can fly and put them on the gunner maybe.
Like I certainly would change the time trial race to just a race.
Oh, a race
for the pod stuff.
Okay.
I feel like the time trial thing just doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, I understand what it's for, but it feels like it's a limitation of the software as opposed to like, no, we wanted it to be this way.
Sure. You can't do a real pod race kind of thing. So instead, we just one person, and you got to beat these times.
So I feel like I definitely would change that. But in terms of the space, I just was interested in what you would say, because that would be a massive change and one that I don't think is even really needed, because all the stuff I love about KOTOR has nothing to do.
It is not my favorite part. It's not my
favorite
part.
The Ebon Hawk looks cool.
Yeah.
But it never ever does anything cool.
Yeah.
Other than just being the device that the story device of it being the former owner, we take it from him.
Yeah. Like maybe you could control the ship. Does Outlaws let you control the ship? It does, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like
yes,
maybe
sir,
some stuff like that where it's like I'm leaving a planet. Like do I get to like there's what's it called? It was a Switch game that had Star Fox, Starlink maybe. In that one you could like you exit the planet and you get into space, like you pass the clouds and you enter space, and now you're just flying through space. There's asteroids and different things, and you would, all right, well, I want to go to that planet, so I'm going to hit it and go into hyperspace kind of thing and go that way. Like doing some of that kind of stuff could be really cool, just to kind of like change it up and let there be like a little extra mechanic area that you could do. And if it's like, well, I want to fly or I want to do the guns or whatever, maybe you could pick and choose which way you want to do it or something, Because as Luke being a gunner, that could be really cool. Or Han being the pilot. Like, what role of that would I want to do, But I do like the idea of just changing it up where, at least at the minimum, don't make it the exact same thing every time. Yeah. Like, just make it something a little bit different. Maybe you get stuck in a tractor beam, and now you have to escape this thing, you know? But they also had a prison break, so I understand maybe we better not use the prison break too early. So.
The other thing, major flaw, is obviously the spacesuit and underwater suit on Manon.
Especially when you miss something, you gotta go back.
I kept trying to brainstorm. Okay, how do we change that from the worst part of the game to the best part of the game? Like, it's got to, like, the movement is just so slow. And it just feels like you're just wasting your time. And there was that part where you messed up and you had to go back. And because you went back, you had to go back from there.
Yep.
And it was just torture.
It was.
You know? How do you make that, like, I don't know. You can jump, but you jump like 100 feet in the air because you're in space. You know? I don't know.
Yeah. The space thing, like, I think, like, maybe making that part a little bit more astronaut-y where, like, you get less gravitational pull so that one step is 5 steps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have an attack happen out there. And then you have to have someone on the Ebon Hawk coming in defending you, and then you're running through a battle or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to do something.
Just make it a little bit more
exciting.
exciting.
That part
sucks. I do think it's kind of funny, too, of I remember people talking about, like, man, technology doesn't really change when, like, here's the Old Republic up to, like, you know, here's where you are with, you know, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And it's like not a lot of stuff really changes between that for technology and stuff too. But there's some smaller things. Like I know like holocron, like holograms and stuff change. They get color, things like that. But if you think about Clone Wars.
Whoa.
Dang, hard. I'm going to call you Hard.
Thank you, Hard.
Thank you, Hard, so much.
Hard ISP 73.
Give us some sub-hype and gonks for him. Thank you for the gifted subs. But if you think about Clone Wars, when they go underground or underwater, they have suits like Anakin and Padme. Like they're wearing suits. Yeah. They're much smaller than they are in this one. And I was like, you know what? That's one of the technologies that got progressed and did better over time. Like maybe they've already kind of perfected. You know, when you kind of get like, hey, this works really well. Sometimes the technology of a certain thing doesn't change too much over like a time frame, right? Because like, wow, like now where we're at with like stuff with cell phones, like I saw like some cell phones they're coming out with now are going back to what they look like in like the early 2000s,
right?
And I'm like, what? It's like, do we not have much more progression that we want to do with this? It's just a bigger screen or whatever now. So like some things I think like spaceships, like well now just change the model, add some extra features, but most of it looks the same. But they don't do a lot of underwater stuff, you know? Like that's probably not something they dealt with a lot, and now. It got better in the Clone Wars. Maybe to get better, I don't know what Luke would wear.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have they probably didn't have the A24 breathers. Is that what they were? AA24.
A quad rebreather.
They didn't have those.
Yeah.
Back during.
They did not.
Give me those.
Yeah.
Give me that. Give me that. Let me use lightsabers.
You.
That's what I'll use.
Yeah.
Give me some aquatic breathers. That'd be great. And no suit.
No suit. Aaron, every time we do a Donkey Gunk, I think I think we'll have enough to talk about, and every time we get to about right now, it's like I have so much more to say. I'll go through some of the stuff. I think at the very least, throw in cross-guard lightsabers. You know, they're kind of meant to be more of like an ancient style. Well, if this is still 4,000 years or where we want to make it.
Sure,
there should be way more cross-guards.
We saw one in Rebels, right?
Saw one in Rebels.
In the idea of trying to change it and make it fit a little bit more into canon.
And
I think that would make sense, you know, like you could take some stuff with that and do some things there. So why not do that?
Yeah,
I have no problem doing that.
Sure.
Also, like changing up some stance stuff too, so that like dual wielding, double bladed saber, single bladed saber, like making sure all of them feel like you know.
And
they were great in Survivor. And they felt like they are all unique and different for different purposes.
Absolutely. And they should all have unique animation choreography for whenever it's just, all right, what am I going to do? And you're just fighting, you know?
So, do that.
And this is another thing I'm borrowing from Baldur's Gate 3, but add a combat log for the turn-based system. I did not understand how Baldur's Gate 3 worked until I really delved deep into the combat log and being able to, like, put my mouse over it and see what this is actually doing with the roll, the modifier, where that modifier is coming from, like all that stuff. Okay. It was just a fantastic learning experience for me. And there's still things that confuse me in KOTOR and how they work.
Gotcha.
So some type of combat log I think is essential.
Okay.
Just having it like in the corner that you can expand would be good for me.
I remember some kind of log, but I don't think it was combat in the pause menu. It might have been just dialogue.
I think it's just dialogue.
A dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I want some type of codex or database or something
really?
that's a little bit more intimate in there.
I would make it easier to sort through.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, oh, shoot, what was that new thing I just picked up? And I'm trying to find it.
Yeah.
Like, getting through some of that would be good.
Yep. I absolutely I love I love the story of the Jedi literally just like, all right, we're taking Darth Raven, we're going to erase his memory. This is super unethical. I love that the Jedi do that. I don't love how, like, when they bring him back, it's like, all right, let's train him up. And then your training is like a 10-second montage, and now you can use a lightsaber and you can use force powers. Granted, they're not as powerful, but you look like you know what you're doing compared to the end of the game still. I would maybe have a little bit more robust training area on Dantooine.
Okay. When you say robust, like, what do you mean?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would want to expand it out, but I just feel like it just feels weird to me that it's like, okay, so now you've been using blasters and stuff, and then here's a 10-second cutscene, and now you can do that. Like, Jedi Outcast has this moment where, like, Kyle's lady is taken by a Darksider. He hasn't used the Force in years.
Sure.
He goes back to Yavin, and Luke is like, okay, if you want your lightsaber so that you can fight this guy, I hid it in the temple. Go get it. He goes out in the temple, and he has to slowly learn everything back and do this type of thing. It feels like a really cool earned moment. When you get your saber back, you have some power, and you're ready to go out and do some stuff. I've always kind of felt like the KOTOR version of that was just like 10-second cutscene, now it moves on. And I just didn't – it never really rang true with me.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, it makes sense now knowing that, well, Revan, his neural pathways are still in there. He's a gifted student, so it makes sense that he can pick this up super quick.
Yeah.
But the character might the motivation of the central character I always thought was kind of weird. Like, does he just assumes he's just fucking awesome all the time? I don't know.
Well, he doesn't have to be awesome. Like you said, too, like, he also gets better with the perks and stuff you get as you go.
He does.
I also think all of Dantooine is still his training. Like, when they send you out to go and help people on Dantooine, I think you're still, like, it's easier stuff you're dealing with.
They're like more dilemmas and stuff, sure.
Yeah, like, I think some of that kind of stuff is also, and there's that one murder where you're there with another Jedi who's also helping you.
I think you got to do all that stuff times 10. You got to make the worlds a little bit bigger. You got to have more stories,
Sure.
Keep some of the fun ones that are there, but just do that way more.
From a player's perspective, though, I also want my lightsaber. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't. We did it when we played, where it's like, okay, we're gonna go through Terrace. We're not gonna level, so that we get more Jedi levels later. Which if we push that back further, there's gonna be fewer levels I get as a Jedi, because like there's still gonna be a cap, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's gonna cap at something.
There's a great mod that's called Jedi from the Beginning. It does like it just makes it so that you can be a Jedi at the beginning of the game, and it also has like a couple little dialogue things to make a little bit more sense lore wise.
Sure.
But I mean I don't know.
Some of those things I would also maybe do as, I mean, the mods, they're going to be as for players, like, adding and stuff. But, like, I've always thought of, Pokemon. Like, a Nuzlocke, the first time you play your Pokemon game, probably don't do a Nuzlocke. But if Pokemon was going to introduce Nuzlocks in a new game plus kind of thing, like, oh, well, now, you know what, you can just be a Jedi from the beginning if you want to play through again. And then that way you can level differently or whatever. But they want you to experience that first story element. And then you can get the extra random things. And that stuff I think would be cool if they were to add in some kind of, like, modification aspect to it or anything. Where you can change things up a little bit. If you want to bring all your companions, it's like, well, maybe you can do that in New Game Plus.
Sure.
But you can't do it in the first one because we want to, like, be able to, like, craft the story a bit more and have it a little bit more focused on certain things.
The only thing I don't like with our run is, like, if you want to get, like, really awesome vital parts of the story, you just need to happen to have the right character with you when that happens, right? Like, we had to ask the chat, like, guys, who should we have right now?
Well, but what do you consider a vital part of the story? Because I don't think any of those are vital parts of the story, right? Like, Mission's brother is not a vital part of the story. It's just Mission's story.
True, right? But I guess I'm also kind of, one of my last ones here is I would love to be able to change the alignment of our characters. Like, as I make choices, I affect Bastila or I affect Canderous. I can make Canderous a lot. Because Canderous isn't a good person. He talks a lot about being like, oh, yeah, I slaughtered them all. They all died under my hoot. Can you make him better? Can you make him worse? Can you
make Karth worse?
Can you make Jolie worse? Can you make everybody have red lightsabers?
Maybe.
Can I spread the Rakghoul plague to other planets? Can you do stuff like that? I don't know. But what was the previous point I had before I brought up the alignment thing?
Talking about characters and you're missing
Their
vital
storylines.
storylines. You said.
Like, Bastila's mother stuff. Like, if you do that, you might be able to, like, help her alignment a little bit more or something. But I say all that being like, it annoys me knowing that's there, and then I don't get it in my first run or the second run. I love the idea that the Old Republic did whenever you would have you're doing the multiplayer, obviously, and you want to talk, or you're in a dialogue, your companions will show up in Holo. And be part of the dialogue.
The fellow players.
Your fellow players, not your companions. But I'm borrowing that and being like, well, it would be kind of cool if maybe you can just have like a holo turn on if they have something interesting to say or something. But that's a lot lower on my list.
Gotcha.
In terms of priorities. It's just the only reason I use that Baldur's Gate mod with all of my party is like I want all the content. Yeah, this game has to offer.
Some of your changes are your immersion and your greed of lore and story.
Absolutely.
Of like, I want it like these so I can do it and have it all at once.
The only way my list is unique. Because I looked at a lot of people saying like what they would thought, and I'm like, that would be cool. There was other ones I saw, and I'm like, please no, like don't change it to an action adventure game. I think the RPG element is vital to this game. I mean, I think there's a reason.
Is it vital?
Because I was looking, and there's a lot of people like that have really strong opinions on like, no, the combat's boring, and I want to change it. And it felt like the majority of people were like, I love that combat. Don't change a thing. I would change some stuff, but I would keep the spirit of it alive. Because again, that was at least for me, that was like the first time I played a game like that, and it's stuck in my brain for 20 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've grown more on Baldur's Gate, liking the way it plays.
Yeah.
So like maybe you could make it more like that.
Sure.
Where your movements and everything, like it is much more turn-based though.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I like the idea of like, because KOTOR, it is turn-based, but it has a higher pace than just turn-based sometimes. Like, let me design a turn with all of my party at once and then hit play on my plan. And maybe my plan doesn't work, or maybe like in that turn my enemies do something that messes it up, and then I have to reconfigure and re-strategize and plan my next turn with everybody at once.
That's kind of what I did with the queuing, right?
Yeah.
You pause it, you queue up what you want, and then play, and let's see if it all works out.
I think there's some magic there that can make it feel really interesting. And then you really rely on your animation systems, especially with the lightsabers, to make it feel different from every other game, which is my lightsaber actually doesn't cut people. I hit them, but they're just like, and then their health goes down a little bit. I think you can do this system where like I'm attacking somebody and I never actually touch them with my lightsaber until they die. But I can have like, their health bar goes down because I had an especially good hit that like nicked them or something,
Sure.
I think that there's a way of having that system make the lightsabers feel like an actual lightsaber as opposed to a baseball bat.
Most games don't usually make it feel like a lightsaber, I don't think.
And it's only really, for me...
But also, that's probably like Disney or kid-friendly or, like versus like, cut off all your limbs and stuff.
The best lightsaber gameplay is Jedi Outcast, and it's only that way when you do a cheat because it was too graphic. But the developer's like, but it's so good. It's like, well, we can't. It's like, we can't, huh?
Yeah, as a cheat, though, because then that's a loophole. Yeah. Jedi Survivor, I thought, was better with it.
It has a really cool like parry system and stuff like that. They definitely felt better. The Force Unleashed feels very baseball bat to me.
Sure.
And to an extent, when I'm seeing like you use the flurry rush thing and you go 1, 2, 3 and KOTOR, and I'm like, shouldn't they just have slashes across their chest and be dead? But if it was like do the flurry rush and then the guy's, my enemy is like blocking it, but because his HP is going down, he's actually blocking it worse each time. And then I work him down, and then you stab him in the chest, and that's the end of the battle,
Gotcha.
I think you could do something like that.
You're turning the HP into more like a stamina bar in a way, where it's like now they're getting too tired to withhold or whatever. And
I think that'd be good. That could be cool.
Yeah.
It at least for me would make the lightsabers feel a little bit more dangerous than just more conventional HP knocking off sticks,
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your last thing on your list?
I think so.
We covered mine earlier on, I think, with most of it, but a lot of mine were also like kind of in the idea of like the game mechanics and like the canon, the lore, like elements of those.
Yeah.